the red zone install, and I thought overall it was pretty good practice. Guys were competing pretty good.
Sean, even though Ian Book, I know he had an interception in 7-on-7, one thing that still sticks out to me is his accuracy. He's made a lot of good throws. I mean,
Yeah, look, I think he's doing well. There's a lot being thrown at him, but he's handling it. I think he's processing the information. He's getting out of the huddle, and I've been encouraged with what he's been able to take. And usually it's a lot, when you get to the terminology. But he's handling the installs, and we'll keep working with his development. But yeah, he's made some plays each day, and today was no different.
Before you drafted him, his accuracy, was that something that
look, you saw it. You saw a guy that was comfortable in the pocket, outside the pocket, and he knew how to win.
With the continuation of that install, what improvements did you see today?
Well, look, the second time through it, there were less mental errors. I thought you saw a little bit more offensive execution than we did the first day, and I thought we played with a little bit better speed.
Sean, Will Lutz put out that he's going to need surgery. Was that the reason he started on NFI, or is that
so he started with a core muscle strain, and then last week it progressed some, and so rather than wait, we're going to go ahead and have that done right away. And I don't have a time frame. I didn't see his PR announcement, but that's where we're at with it.
So I guess you're probably going to have to realistically work out some kickers and get someone else in for the first.
Yeah, at some point.
Games.
Yeah, at least for the preseason.
Sean, when you talk about accuracy, it seems at times you struggle with deep balls, whether it's been underthrown or more. Just you have the guy over maybe 50 yards, just missing him. Have y'all talked about just putting more air under the?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing that can happen sometimes. We're in this /full speed mode, and yet sometimes there's not pressure, but there can be a pocket in his face where you can't follow through, and it's generally when you see one of those underthrown balls and you go back to the end zone copy, he's not able to finish on a throw. But both those guys, I think, should be able to handle the deep ball part of the game. And we look at it and we get to see, was the pocket clean or was there a space to throw it? Obviously, you want to get the air out and let a guy go run and make a play. We've had a couple of those though that have come off to the inside if it's an outside throw, or fell short. One specifically today.
Sean, has this offseason been a little bit more challenging than some of the ones in the past with Onyemata and Mike and Will Lutz?
No, look, I'll be honest with you. Every year, there's that saying, it's always something. So it's part of when you deal with a roster of 90 people. You're going to have things that come up, and no different than when the season begins. The same thing takes place. So you get programmed to deal with those and then quickly find solutions in the meantime.
Sean, I know last week you talked about communication and how good it is from the top down. If a player, Michael Thomas, sent out a tweet, do you have to worry about a player kind of doing things in social media and fracturing the communication, or how it affects the rest of the team?
Look, we're focused on our guys, and obviously we're focused on Mike getting healthy. But outside of that, that's never been an issue.
Do you want to address anything he insinuated today?
No, I don't want to have a press conference based on social media.
Sean, do you anticipate playing your starting offense more in the preseason so you can get a more thorough evaluation of both?
We'll have a list of guys. What we do every year, this year will be no different. We'll have a meeting, and we'll go through every player on the roster, how many snaps do we want them to get. So it won't be the whole unit. There'll be some early outs. There'll be some guys that we need more reps from. We're working in 3 segments right now, and we'll have that meeting middle of the week relative to this game. So I don't see that being any different.
So that, I guess as it pertains to evaluating quarterbacks, I guess would those two maybe play more than you typically would play?
We'll both of those two are going to have chances to play, and The actual snaps will decide.
Does losing a preseason game change how many snaps you play some guys?
Well, look, it removes snaps from a lot of the down the line players. That's the first thing I think of. You know, when you're playing in that fourth game, you have a lot of guys competing for roster spots. That's going to have to happen in 3 weeks now, in 3 games rather than 4.
So with Will, with
So what have been some of your impressions of Christian Ringo?
Pretty good. You know, there's been some good snaps on tape. Obviously, these games will be important for him, and you know, as a coach, you're anxious to see how these guys compete when you get another opponent and how they handle a game situation. So, but overall, somewhat positive.
So from the standpoint of losing that fourth preseason game, and I think last year you didn't have any, so you made it more competitive in camp. Do you have to do that to get that evaluation from those down the line?
Yeah, look, we're going to have X number of opportunities that are scheduled out. And, you know, some days they're going to be a little bit more physical relative to the practice than others. And all of it gets factored in. You know, you can't control the game lost. But we'll know, hey, what is it we need to work on? What are the periods we need to work on? And then, you know, most importantly, who do we need to see more of?
do you know what's the possibility you'll have to use more than one roster spot on the kicker? Just, you know, with the reliable guy.
Say it again.
So like you just had one kicker. Obviously, Will's really reliable, so he'll be out. Then you're looking at a possible new kicker. You need to use maybe what's the likelihood of using more than one roster spot on the kicker, like making it a competition versus just choosing one guy off.
Yeah, I think look, we have enough reps where I don't think we'll use 2 spots necessarily, but we'll work a couple guys out. We'll work more than that if we need to. We'll have a long-term plan and a short-term plan, and I think relative to Will's surgery, I don't think it's an extended process, you know, based on the history with that type of injury, but each one's a little different.
Sean, there was a moment where you talked to the team. Were you putting them through a situation there, like
There's a couple.
learning situation?
Yeah, there was 2 today. You know, we went through the 2-point rules and PAT, making sure they understood the difference from the 2-yard line to the 15, and then what penalties do to impact that. You might be kicking a PAT, the defense jumps off sides. It's a penalty. You may choose now to go for 2 on the 1-yard line. Defense can block a PAT. They can score 2 points. If they make an interception or recover a fumble on a PAT point after, you know, from the 2, they can score. You know, just kind of not taking anything for granted, going through exactly the point after try. And then later, I think at midfield, we had a period that was devoted to slot in base and slot and sub and explaining that. Just trying to be pretty thorough relative to what the emphasis is in that period.
Is it something you do in the team meetings too, and then transfer it out to the
Yeah,
field?
it'll be installed in the team meetings, but then, you know, the coaches all have the script. We all know what the situation today was, and when you look at the script, it says point after try. Let's go through that thoroughly with everyone so they understand it. Defensively, how we can score. Offensively, you get a penalty for celebration. Now you're kicking a field goal from the 30-yard line, and God forbid you had to go for 2 late in the game. You're now on the 17 trying to score as opposed to the 2, and just ramifications.
I know you may have obviously been busy with your own team. Did you watch the Hall of Fame last night? And what did you think of Payton's speech?
I didn't, and I have them all taped. I want to watch them. I've heard about a number of them, and I'll usually watch them all, but I didn't have a chance to see any of them last night. I look forward to listening to them here in the next couple days.
Sean, a clarification. Are you going to put Will on the reserve list, or are you going to keep him on the 90?
We'll see. Right now, we'll see. And you know, probably initially my thought is on the 90, but we'll see where we're at. All right. Thank you.